I would like to call this regular meeting of the Coralville City Council to order. It is July 8th, 2025. Could I have the roll call, please?
Knutson.
Here.
Vogelzang.
Here.
Quinn.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Goodrich.
Here. All council members are present, as is the mayor, the city clerk, the city administrator, the city attorney, and other staff in the audience. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Moved by Wynn, seconded by Knutson. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Okay, next item, we have community comments. And I know we have some folks that are here this evening to speak to us. And I think we're going to be okay on the time that we usually allot. So, and I'll give extended time as well. Just try to keep it 2 to 3 minutes if you can, since we do have I think, quite a few folks that would like to speak. So let's go ahead and get started. When you get up to the microphone, just make sure that you say your name and that you write your name and your phone number down. And I'll let you have the floor. Okay, who would like to come up first?
It's that old Midwest standoff, no one wants to be first. My name is Mike Roberts, and I'll put my phone number down in a second. So I've already shared this with the council via email, but I also wanted to voice my disagreement with the current plan to implement flock mass surveillance cameras in person. My fellow citizens signed a petition opposing the deployment of mass surveillance technology like automated license plate readers. We urge the Coralville City Council not to deploy these cameras and to consider a resolution banning ALPRs due to the dangers to privacy that these technologies pose for our citizens. And the petition that I brought with me, we got our 100th signature just today. So thanks for putting us up to 100. That was just found out about these cameras recently. So I have only been gathering signatures on the petition for a couple days, but people are aware of this issue. People are concerned about this issue. That these cameras are already in our community via the University of Iowa Police Department, and people do not want this mass surveillance to be further deployed in our community. The concerns I have with these cameras are that they are not an effective way of reducing crime. They are a major risk to safety and security. A database of the movements of every member of a community is a big target for hackers. So, and we hear stories about new data breaches every day. So we don't believe this power should rest in anyone's hands, corporate, government, or otherwise. There are indiscriminate dragnet surveillance that gather data on everyone driving in an area, not just vehicles of interest for matters of crime or public safety. They have been documented to be abused by law enforcement. The intended purposes of community safety, recovering stolen vehicles, and helping in the cases of child abductions are all noble goals, but these cameras and this technology does so much more than that. It's so powerful, and we've already seen how it's been misused to track people seeking abortion care, crossing straight lines because they are not able to access care in their communities. This puts people's safety and well-being at risk. Also, this technology is known to have errors which have drastic consequences. So one of the news articles linked from the site I linked in my email has a photo of an African-American family, mother, father, 2 children, lying face down on the asphalt because the flock technology said that their car was stolen. So police forced them out at gunpoint and put them on the pavement. These kinds of dangerous, high-stakes police interactions are increased by the use of this technology and the potential errors it can cause. They enable racist policing, and they also put our undocumented neighbors at risk. We've all seen the heinous immigration enforcement actions in our community, the deportation of Pascual Pablo over the weekend before we could file any paperwork to get him due process and recognition. Horribly, over the Independence Day holiday, they chose to kidnap and deport him. So we don't want this dangerous technology to be accessible to immigration enforcement officials. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and I can share the physical papers.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Okay, who else would like to speak?
Hello, my name is Dr. Emma Denny. I would like to urge you to not adopt flock cameras in this city. We have seen countless examples of how this technology is misused by law enforcement, including here in Johnson County at large through the University of Iowa Police Department's actions. We see again and again that despite the noble goals of sort of identifying community risks or as was previously addressed, perhaps like helping child abductions, what this technology is actually used to do is target dissidents. It was used to target several transgender protesters in Iowa City in 2023 and has been used constantly across this country and in Iowa to target immigrants. In this moment, when both the trans community and the immigrant community in this country is facing a vast array of political violence, I don't think it is the city's position to empower that violence anymore. Given the state of the world and given the political position that we are all in at this present moment, you all have the option to make a different choice and to stand up to this kind of tyranny and surveillance, and I hope you take it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah.
Hi, I am Justin, a resident of Coralville, here to speak on the same subject. Flocks, ALPR cameras, automatic license plate recognition cameras, record the plates, color, and model of every vehicle that passes them. This information then becomes part of a nationwide database. Law enforcement officers around the country can search this database and usually do not require a warrant to do so. We've already seen alarming uses of this database recently. For example, in May, a woman's self-administered abortion was reported to a county sheriff in Texas, and an officer then searched for that woman's vehicle in Flock's database, and that officer's search covered 83,345 cameras in 6,809 networks, including many networks in states with much fewer abortion restrictions than Texas. This officer in Texas was accessing, for example, a list of every vehicle passing a certain camera in Washington State because this woman's family was concerned that she had gotten an abortion. Search records obtained by public records requests have also revealed thousands of flock searches intended to assist ICE in their mass deportation agenda, and these searches also typically cover tens of thousands of cameras in multiple states. Right now, we are standing not very far from the Illinois border, and I'm sure that you can think of some things that are legal in Illinois that are not legal here where we're standing. You can think of some things that the Iowa state government seeks to restrict that Illinois has not. And so you can imagine, I'm sure, that a lot of people are traveling through Coralville to get to Illinois for very important reasons. And I ask you, do you really want to participate in surveilling and tracking those people? I wanted to include this as well. Most of the media reporting, I emailed you these statements earlier today. I included a couple of articles from 404 Media, which mostly focus on the alarming nature of the nationwide warrantless searches taking place in the Flock database. But I want to make something clear personally. even if we as a city opt out of participating in this larger nationwide network, I would rather not have these cameras here. The mass collection of surveillance data is, even if it's not used for these purposes, creepy and invasive. Would you be comfortable with the Coralville Police Department placing a tracking device on your car? And do you really think that a network of cameras placed all around the city, tracking your movements every single day, is functionally much different from having a tracking device on your car? It's pretty much the same thing in my mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else would like to speak with us?
I'm 5 feet tall. Hi, my name is Storm, and I live right on the North Liberty, Coralville border. The ACLU opposes flock cameras for a reason. They're infringement on our ability to live freely without state surveillance, and their data has been accessed and used in nefarious ways that city governments have not intended, and I assume that it will be used in ways that you likely do not intend either. What's insane to me is that this council picked now to approve of this technology, a time in which U.S. citizens are being detained by ICE, when people are being deported without due process, a time in which fascist government regime has taken over. You picked now to provide the government with more means to surveil its citizens. And I need you to understand that this action will put our entire community at risk of state violence. This technology has already been used by ICE to assist them with finding people to deport, and yes, that includes people who are here lawfully. It's already been used to track a woman seeking a self-managed abortion, and if you don't think that this can happen here in Iowa, think again. We already used flock cameras in Iowa City to enact state oppression. The University of Iowa police used flock cameras against peaceful protesters who were transgender in the fall of 2023. They were used to identify 2 of my friends who were doing no greater crime than standing in the street or the crosswalk and not being violent, and then they were arrested nearly a month after the actual protest itself with the use of that camera footage. The incidents in which these cameras will be used to track violent crime are so rare that they are nearly non-existent, but typically law enforcement will use violent crime as a rationale to get this technology installed and make that argument to city governments. One thing that I will note is that more often than not, it is more likely to be used to target marginalized people than it is to actually be able to solve violent crime. I worked for the Rape Victim Advocacy Program for nearly 7 years. I worked as a sexual assault advocate for 10 years in victim services. I can tell you that these are very rarely used in prosecuting sex abuse cases. On the cases I worked where camera footage was a part of the evidence, it was used against survivors who were trying to have their rapists prosecuted, despite the amount of concrete evidence indicating that those rapes had happened. You are more likely to see them harm than help people, and I am calling on you to find a way to fix the mistake and keep our community safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else?
My name is Morgan Sass. I am a resident of Iowa City, but my workplace is in Coralville. I am a caregiver for 4 individuals that are on disability and cannot live by themselves. I want to add more onto Storm's comment about the abuse that this not only does not prevent, but in fact facilitates. Having cameras everywhere is giving the proverbial keys for law enforcement to conduct abuse in their interpersonal relationships with free will, complete free will. If I have concerns about my clients, if my clients are having any sort of relationship that may be dubious in nature because of their their underprivileged status as disabled people, I am fearful that these cameras could help facilitate any person abusing them because of the vast monitoring system that they create. I don't have much else to say that has not already been said. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments?
Hi, I'm Astor Jacobson. I've been a resident of the city of Coralville since I was 8 years old, and I'm a volunteer at the Coralville Public Library. I care a lot about everybody in our community being and feeling safe, and I think that the city implementing flock cameras will substantively impact people's ability to do that. It's already very hard to live in Coralville without being surveilled almost all the time. If you leave your home and try to cross the bridge over Interstate 80, you'll be caught on camera. If you enter downtown Iowa City by bike path or road, you'll be caught on camera. If you walk into Hy-Vee, you'll be caught on camera. Introducing automatic license plate readers will further increase the surveillance that's available, and it'll make it a lot easier to search that surveilled data. In addition, automatic license plate readers create a variety of unique abuses. Like this May, 404 Media revealed that local police departments across the nation have used their flock cameras to make informal lookups as a favor to ICE agents. This aids in brutal kidnappings and deportations of innocent people that we've been seeing across the nation and here in Iowa recently. As reported yesterday in the Illinois State Journal Register, Floxio has admitted that agencies were using inadmissible search reasons to access camera data, but hasn't proposed many reasonable improvements. Flox cameras automatically share data with other police departments, so even if all of Coralville's officers are perfect and unbiased forever, our city's cameras will still share data with departments who lack the training and standards of ours. By inviting surveillance into our community, we invite government overreach, violent crackdowns, and the most brutal arm of the state. I urge this council to rescind any funding for Flock and to consider banning the use of their and other automatic license plate readers in Coralville. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for hearing us. My name is Tara McGovern. I'm here tonight because of the recent news that the City Council has budgeted $19,000 for Flock Safety automatic license plate reader cameras in our city. I urge the Council to reject any contract or agreement with Flock for these ALPR cameras. As a resident of Coralville of over 25 years, I have a right to know what technology the city is using to surveil me. This should be a minimum requirement. Coralville residents should also have the opportunity to provide input on any surveillance technologies used in our city. What does this contract with Flock say? How will the cameras be used? Who will have access to the data that is collected on Coralville residents and anyone else who comes to our city? ALPRs are not only being used to search for suspects, but also to keep records on the whereabouts of everybody. They are increasingly becoming a tool for mass location tracking and surveillance across the country. Under ordinary circumstances, ALPRs pose a significant threat to privacy since amassing data on vehicle locations can reveal very private details about our lives, like our doctor's visits, where we sleep at night, where we choose to spend our time. We are no longer living under ordinary circumstances. Flock's nationwide data sharing system has made local ALPR data available to virtually any law enforcement agency that wishes to access it. I'd like to give a personal example of the sort of surveillance we can expect in these extraordinary circumstances. In 2021, I spoke at county supervisor meetings when Johnson County was trying to acquire an additional mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle. In 2024, I learned in a court deposition that UIPD Detective Ian Mallory began surveillance of me in 2021 because of my advocacy opposing militarized policing. The deposition centered around 7 trans people, including myself, being arrested 1 to 2 months after a protest on the University of Iowa campus. No cisgender people were arrested at the protest. Nobody at all was arrested at the protest. At least 2 of the people arrested were identified using ALPRs. Surveillance can be and is manipulated by people in power for their own purposes. Every Flock ALPR camera that is installed adds to the mass surveillance network that everyone else who has a camera has access to. I urge the City Council to protect the residents of Coralville and stand up for our privacy by refusing to allow Flock's ALPR cameras in our city. I also have a letter from another Coralville resident who couldn't be here today. Is that something that the clerk would want to read or somebody else in the audience should read beside myself?
Someone in the audience can read
Okay, Ash or Ned or anyone else? Thank you. It's right here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ash.
Okay, yeah, this is from Katie. I'm Ash, but this is from Katie. Dear Counselor/Mayor, during the June 24th work session following the council meeting, you were all given a presentation by Flock on the installation of an automatic license plate reader, ALPR, system in our community. While Flock markets its platform as a public safety solution, the reality is very different. ALPR technology enables mass surveillance, which has already been used in many other states, such as Georgia, Colorado, and Texas, to help ICE track and illegally detain immigrants, as well as to track a woman seeking reproductive health care outside of her home state. Though it may not be the intention of the council to utilize the ALPR system to aid in such activities, it is not solely up to the council. Flock's internal policy about sharing data is not subject to any kind of law or oversight by the City Council, and they may change their policies at any time without notifying any member of the council. If you believe there will be no one requesting access, you are wrong. ICE is already here in Iowa. In West Liberty, less than 25 miles away, a 20-year-old law-abiding resident, Pascual Leonardo Pedro, was illegally detained while attending his routine annual immigration check-in on July 1st. Pascual, sadly, will just be the first in what is soon to become a local crisis, especially with ICE now becoming the most funded armed domestic force in U.S. history. I have two questions for you. One, will you protect immigrants, queer and trans folks, and black and brown members of our community by opposing the purchase and implementation of the Flock ALPR system? And two, what are you willing to do, personally and politically, to protect our community from ICE and other militarized forces? I once asked a local elected official, besides my vote, how can I hold you or any elected official accountable? Their answer was to do this, to engage with government officials and ask them questions. I'm going to add to that and say also demanding answers. I have yet to have a council member reply to any question asked via email or as a result of my comments and questions stated during the community comment period at council meetings. This has not gone unnoticed. Katie Freeman, local Coralville resident.
Thank you. Who else? Is there anyone else that would like to speak to us? Okay. Oh, yeah, head on up.
Hi, my name is Alexey Gurtovoy. I live in Iowa City, but I'm in Coralville pretty often, and I have a couple of businesses that I am patronizing. That if these cameras are installed, I'm gonna be looking for alternatives and asking those business owners, putting pressure on the city council to reconsider. But I'm not gonna repeat all the excellent points that have been already raised about just how dangerous and invasive this technology is. But I would like to underscore what, to me is a crazy reality of us, or rather this city council, kind of nonchalantly in an ordinary work session deciding that, we're just gonna have mass surveillance. It's no big deal. This isn't, we don't have a Fourth Amendment right. We don't have a right of association. It's, I guess the Constitution doesn't exist. And, it's not a big decision that maybe should deserve, a couple of public input sessions. And, if the council is so convinced that the majority of the community is behind it, and I don't know, maybe, put it on a ballot, like it seems like And what problem are we solving here? Is there a specific problem that we are solving other than giving the law enforcement the latest technological toy that, and is this the best use of 20 grand? Like this, just like if you step back and you look at the situation, it's insane. Like this is dystopia, and I would like you to step back and realize that. Respectfully. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Who else would like to speak? Is there anyone else? Yeah.
Another topic?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yes, of course, you bet.
My name is Tom McMurray. I'm here as a representative of the Unitarian Universalist Society Church. You have on your agenda a resolution, a little lighter topic than these important topics that have been presented. There's a resolution that we're asking that you approve it in favor of targeted goat grazing on about 2 acres of our property. If you have any questions, I'm here later on or at any time. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else like to speak, share on any topic? Okay, all right. Well, I want to just say thank you to everyone. I really genuinely do appreciate your advocacy, and I am grateful for the information that we've received. And we do have some other, we've gotten a lot, and so let's make sure we get everything read. And can you read through some of that? We have received several emails as well, so our city clerk will read those.
Basically, all these emails are reiterating what everyone here has spoken about regarding flock. Hendrik Van Pelt sent an email to the council. Eyes off Cedar Rapids sent an email by Josh Wortman. Also, Katie Freeman's email was also sent to the council, and those are the ones that I'm aware of. Whether they sent them to you directly or not, I'm not sure. All of them basically mentioned the constitutional questions, the outstanding litigation, the misuse, and lack of transparency, and unwarranted searches of the database. So.
Okay. And then I just wanted to note that the one from Mr. Roberts, that came right before the meeting, and yeah, we do have the paper copy, but you might have missed that one because I noticed that one was 3 minutes. Yeah, right. Yeah. So that one, just make sure you see that one as well. And I think that it's very warranted that we continue this discussion, and we will keep everybody posted on that. There's nothing on our agenda about this evening, but I appreciate everybody sharing your thoughts and coming to us with these concerns. It is like I said, we're grateful. Thank you for speaking up. Okay, appreciate all of you very much. All right, if we don't have any other comments, we will move on to the next agenda item. All right, so our next agenda item is the 4th Avenue Place Utility Improvements CDBG Program application. So this is for setting a public hearing, and this public hearing is required to discuss an application for water and sewer improvement funds from the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and to conduct a community development and housing needs assessment for the application. And this project will install a new 8-inch water main and replace the existing sanitary sewer with a new one. And the public hearing will be set for July 22nd, 2025. Could I have the resolution read, please?
Consider resolution setting a public hearing on an application to the Iowa Economic Development Authority for Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program funding for 4th Avenue Place utility improvements, introduced by Knutson, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Nguyen. Do we have any questions or discussion on this item? Okay. Could I have the roll call, please?
Knutson.
Aye.
Vogelzang.
Aye.
Kuhn.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye. Resolution is approved, all ayes. Next item is the 5th Street Social, and this would designate an open container area around 5th Street between 9th Avenue and 6th Avenue and between the 708 and 808 5th Street buildings for the 5th Street Social. Could I have the resolution read, please?
Consider resolution approving the 2025 agreement with Coralville Park and Recreation, authorizing their use of public right-of-way for the 2025 5th Street Social, introduced by Vogelzang, seconded by.
Second. Seconded by Goodrich. Okay, we have our Parks and Rec Director here to share a little bit about this.
Yeah, this is an opportunity to talk about what's coming up with the Fifth Street Social. This Fifth Street Social is always the second Saturday in August, and this year it's Saturday, August 9th, from 4 to 10 p.m. The beverage garden is the area that you just mentioned, Mayor, from 6th Avenue to 9th Avenue and between 708 and 808 on the street, actually just right on the street and up to those buildings. And then the Fifth Street Social extends on from 9th Avenue all the way to 12th Avenue. So it's the 7th year of the social. Street dance and block party, free family fun. Really looking forward to it. This year our live music on the main stage, which is at 8th Avenue. From 4 to 6:30 is Rory Brownell. And from 7:15 to 10 is the Fox Hill Troubadours, and both of these are Iowa bands. And on our second stage, which is at 10th Avenue and 5th Street, that intersection, from 5 to 7:30, is also a local group called Heavy Index. We have Kids Zone. We have a new area called the Games and Dessert Zone at 5th and 10th. And the Mind Bridge Foundation is helping with games, both board games and yard games at that location, as well as our dessert vendors and several of our business vendors will be at that. And then the classic car show and shine. This is a celebration not only of the summer coming to a close and our street dances that we've had dating back into the 40s and 50s on 5th Street, but also celebrating our local brewers and our local food vendors. And I just mentioned that the deadline for food vendor applications is Thursday, July 10th. And we do have a volunteer link on www.coralville.org/5th Street Social, spell that all out. And we need volunteers to welcome guests, monitor games, sell beverage tickets, and pour brews. And it's just always a really good time. We're looking forward to it.
Yes, it is. Thank you for that overview. All right, does anyone have any questions for Sherry? Do we have any discussion on this agenda item?
I do have a question. So I volunteered for Fifth Street Social, I think 2 years ago, or I can't remember, maybe 3 years ago, yeah. And why manning a booth, there was a resident who lived in the apartment, I think in 708 or 808, and she came out and she was quite upset because of the noise. She had a young kid that just trying to take a nap, and she was just upset that there was no communication beforehand, so that she can go find somewhere else to kind of stay for the duration of the Fifth Street Social. So I'm just curious of what sort of measure does the city or Park and Rec take to inform the resident that live around that area who might not, be okay with the noise
So
constantly.
all of those buildings are owned by, what is the name of it? Hawkeye. I'll have to think a minute. Randy and Laura Miller, their business owns all of those buildings.
Okay.
And they receive a letter that they email to all their residents, as well as a flyer on the event. The letter explains what time the sound checks are, which start around 1:30 p.m. And usually sound checks take about an hour, and then that they'll have sound from 4 to 10. Make sure that we're very prompt at 10 p.m. That sound goes off, and we don't put on any house music after 10 p.m. We also pass out a poster to all of the businesses in all of all of those bottoms of the residence or commercial districts. It's in the beat. We spread it as widely as we can. There are occasionally some people that just didn't pay attention. We also send the flyer and ask them to put it in every elevator in those buildings. So I think if there's other ideas people have, great. We're willing to do it, but that's what we do so far.
Okay.
And we have street signs out in front of their building also leading up that said, like, there's a big banner that went across the front of one of the businesses, block party here on Saturday night. So.
Thank you.
And I assume all of that goes out on the city's social media. Do they have like an HOA or in those buildings or anything like that?
So they're all rented, and
Okay.
so it goes out through MMWLL, like it's a long acronym.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't remember the name of it, but they communicate with their residents by email.
Okay.
And send that out I provide it to them to send out.
Okay, gotcha.
Do we know for a fact that is being sent out? Do they CC you on it or anything?
They tell me that it's being sent out.
But I guess
don't
there's,
they CC
what
me.
kind of measure that we can
Yeah,
hold them
we could ask.
accountable?
Yeah, we could ask.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe just the CC.
Yeah.
Just make so that you know
Yep.
that it gets, you can confirm that it gets out would be good. Cool. All right, do we have any other questions on this, folks? All right. Thank you. Could I have the roll call, please?
Vogelzang.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Next item are tobacco violations. So this is the second tobacco violation for Casey's number 2779 within a 2-year period. This is for selling tobacco products to a minor, and businesses have the option to have a hearing to state their case before the city council. Some other options, they can waive the hearing and pay a fine, or they can opt to not sell tobacco products for a 30-day period. All right, could I have the resolution, please?
Consider resolution accepting payment of $1,300 penalty from Casey's number 2779 at 1987 2nd Street, introduced by Nguyen, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. So just one minor little typo. Is it 1,300 or 1,500?
I was just going to check the resolution on
Okay.
that.
15.
Cool, yeah. Is there any other context or anything else worth noting? Just.
Yeah,
do you have
well,
a-
I do have a question.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
This is the second offense. Like what? Obviously, they seem to not take the regulations seriously. So is there a limit of how many offend and then we'll move to the next step, or we'll just continue to give them the option of, suspending 30-day or pay the fine of
The state
$1,500?
law outlines what the option and how the progressive nature of it once, the more times that somebody violates that.
So we are subject to the
Yeah.
state law to carry it out. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that question. Do we have anything else? Any other thoughts or discussion? Okay, could I have the roll call, please?
Nguyen.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Goodrich. Knutson.
Aye.
Vogelzang.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. And on to our next item, which is the targeted goat grazing. So, some background here. Falcon Farm will be responsible for maintaining the 2-acre area, and this is on the east side of the Unitarian Universalist Church. They will take care of the goats. The goats will take 9 to 15 days to complete their job. And again, just more background here, the council can grant authorization to allow split-hooved grazing livestock within the corporate limits for this purpose. So, just some little bit of information on that. Could I have the resolution, please?
Consider resolution permitting targeted goat grazing at 2355 Oakdale Road, introduced by Peterson, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Nguyen. Do we have any questions or comments about the goats?
I just have maybe an observation or a question. I have no doubt that Falcon Farm takes great care and oversees the goats and so on. In that it's a neighborhood, and in that neighborhood on 3 sides are family homes with dogs. And I just wonder, and I know dogs are supposed to stay in their yards and be tethered and so on, but is there concern about that at all? Could you check on that, Tom? Or I don't know how to talk to neighbors, say, hey, you know, for a couple days there's going to be goats over here.
If you would like to go to the micro, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I know that the operator's also concerned about any other, the deer might knock down the fences, so they set the electric fence up in advance. There'll be electric fences around the particular plot that they're working on at any given time. That's a discouragement for any dogs.
Correct.
And they are available.
It's a full fence, it's not just the one line?
It's you might call it like a hog fence, squares.
Yes.
And so it's, I don't know how high it is, 6 feet, probably not that high. They're responsible for that. We think it's kind of an interesting place to see the goats.
Yeah, right.
I think it'll be a point of amusement more than a point of strife, because they make interesting noises, soft mooing sounds and so forth, calming influence on the dogs, I'm sure. So,
well, I don't know for dogs, will it?
I don't think, I mean, I don't think dogs typically are anywhere around there. And if they are, I mean, we would try to contact the owner of the dogs.
Okay, just an observation.
Yep.
Did they let the neighborhood know, or this is how we let the neighborhood know that it'll be for
Would you suggest some additional contact with the neighborhood?
I think that would be in good taste, in good.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're planning to do that. There's maybe some question about exactly where the fencing might go. And I know a couple of neighbors there in your neighborhood, and we'll be happy to talk to them.
Thank you. Great.
Sure.
Thanks.
Goats are very soothing. It's true. Okay. Do we have any other goat-related questions or discussion? That'll be fun. I will definitely stop by and see the goats. It's not far from my house.
Will Caitlin Clark be there? Can she go?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think these are actual goats, livestock goats. So, see what you did there. Okay. Do we have, I think we're good on the goat content. I think we're ready for the roll call now.
Peterson.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Vogelsang.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Next item, we have a services agreement for audiovisual services. And this agreement will make Encore Venue Group the on-site provider of audiovisual equipment and related services to the Hyatt Regency Hotel here in Coralville. All right. Could I have the resolution read, please?
Consider resolution approving a services agreement for audiovisual services between Encore Group USA, LLC, DBA Encore Venue Group, and City of Coralville by Marcus Edgewater, LLC, manager of the Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, introduced by Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Peterson. Do we have any thoughts on this item or discussion?
Is this a change or
Yeah.
just a change of the
No, it's not a change. It's just a continuation of their
continuation of the same contract? So it comes up how frequently?
I think it was
Yes.
3
3 year?
5 years.
5 years.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
I believe that this is an optional service. Right?
Yeah,
People
right.
have the option to use this audiovisual group or bringing their own.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Could I have the roll call, please?
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Vogelsang.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. All right, next up, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Madam Mayor, I would like to ask council to consider motion to approve the consent calendar as presented, A to double B.
Okay, moved by Wynn. Could I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Peterson. Could I have the roll call, please?
Knutson.
Aye.
Vogelsang.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
The consent calendar is approved, all ayes. All right, city administrators report.
Yes, Mayor, I'd just like to thank all the volunteers and city staff that helped with to have another successful Fourth Fest. A lot of effort goes into that, and we have a great group of volunteers that helped put that together, so thank them very much.
Okay, excellent. Mayor's report, I really don't have anything this evening. I was gonna say the same thing. Another great Fourth Fest on the books. Appreciate everyone's help in getting that off the ground. Always a really special event in our community, and it is a heavy lift. So definitely appreciate everyone's help with that. I do want to be a little bit crabby about the fireworks. I know there's not a whole lot that we can do about that just because of the state law. But, you know, my dog is still afraid to go outside. And I think she was a little bit more traumatized this year just because of the extended time period. So, I mean, think about your neighbors. And I got to be honest here, folks. Nobody likes that but you, okay? If you're doing that in town, really and truly. So I know it is what it is, but I'm just gonna ask folks, you know, next year, please be a little bit more considerate. Not to be a Debbie Downer, 4th of July was lovely, but I just wanted to get that in. Okay, that's all I have. We do not have the city attorney here with us this evening. Let's go down the line and do our council members report. Let's start down here with Mike.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll just reiterate your gratitude to the folks who had to comment about the flocks. Feel a little bit bad that 2 weeks ago, I guess, we hadn't thought through all those issues. We had somebody from the agency here, and would certainly welcome them back to address a lot of those concerns that we heard tonight, which are very valid. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Rich?
I'll just echo what Kelly and everybody else has said. A lot of thanks to everybody who was involved with the July Fest. I was just, as we were going down through the parade and everything else, I was just trying to imagine the logistics involved and of all the committee work, and I have no idea how many volunteers were involved. And that's, you know, in addition to all the city staff. So, and I want to thank Sherry and Scott, and I'm not sure who else for their help on the council float. So, appreciate it. So, just thanks to everybody.
Okay.
It was great.
Thank you. Hi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to start by saying thank you to every single resident, whether Coralville, Iowa City, or elsewhere, to come and speak to us tonight. It is very important to have the engagement from our citizens because we are here to represent you. So anytime that we need more information to inform our votes, I would encourage people to show up and speak up as well. Because if we don't, then we don't know. We sit here because you put us here. The power is in your hand. So exercise that power. As far as, and I can't speak for everyone, I can only speak for myself. As far as email, I am very, very bad at replying to email because I have so many different email accounts from so many different avenue that I am involved in. And English is not my first language, and so when I reply to email, I really have to think hard because of the tone. It could come out differently than what I intended to. So I would suggest that you all have our phone number. It's listed publicly. So reach out, send me a text, ask for a meeting in person. I'm way better with that. So please, if you email me and you don't hear a reply, it's not that I ignored you. It just takes a lot more effort for me to attend to you in that way. And yeah, always, as always, thank you for speaking up and thank you for paying attention. Because without your voice, we will lead blindly. So continue to speak up. I wish I have good news to share, but with everything that's happening at the national level and at the state level, my day job has gotten harder mentally and physically. It's 2 weeks ago, with the help of the city, particularly from Park and Rec, the Coralville Police Department, and the Coralville Fire Department, we did a Healthy Kids Iowa distribution, which took a huge undertaking from every single one of us. This was intended to replace the summer EBT that our governor opted out. And so this is sort of like a Band-Aid on a wound that, is not enough to cover anything. Our goal was to serve 1,500 children, and we ended up with almost 1,000, which is, given the goal, yes, we didn't meet the goal, but given how much effort and coordination and logistics that go into that 4 hour of distribution, that was a success. Compared to other places that have hosted before, that was a success. But we have only reached a fraction of the kid in Johnson County has summer EBT been the case. So please, speak up, talk to your lawmaker, especially the folks who represent the state, represent each of the region that we live in, represent your district. Talk to them, hold them accountable, tell them, share your personal story, because without those, it's just words. Personal story go farther, and it give the story the human side. And so in some way, as human, we are more receptible to that. So I urge every single person, whether you have kids or not, whether you receive social benefit or not, it's affect our neighbors. It's affect our community. So please, speak up. There will be we are working on another distribution for July. So keep your eye and your ear peeled on the Coralville Food Pantry website, and lend a hand if you can. So the date is late for July 30th. So just keep your eye out. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I wanted to just chime in. First of all, don't feel bad, because I miss emails. I'm not perfect. I miss them too. I do. And we none of us are perfect, and we all miss one here and there. Also, I just wanted, why would we give a kid a card when we could amass 100 volunteers and stand outside in 100-degree heat and
make the choice for them.
Right. So I didn't remember to thank the city staff for that in my comments, but that was a massive undertaking, and so I appreciate all of the assistance that we got from all the city staff, all the volunteers, and of course the staff at the Coralville Food Pantry as well. So,
and to be honest, without city support, there is no way that we can pull that off. No way.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay. Royce?
Well, that's a tough one to follow. First of all, thank you, Hi, for everything you do for everyone and the city staff. I mean, with that, everything for the 4th, Chief, great job. I seen you out there walking around with your vest on, and we had no incidents during the festivities, so kudos. To our constituents that spoke tonight, yeah, thank you guys. That is very valuable information you gave us. Appreciate that. Definitely take that into consideration. Kind of eye-opening. So thank you for that. And again, I can't thank everybody enough. I'd like to thank the local business that loaned us their shop and their trailer to put the float together this year, and everybody that come out and help, all Coralville city council members and the mayor and city staff and everybody. It was a great event. I got to drive the truck this year, so I didn't feel like I was going to pass out by the end of the walk. I know that there was people sticking their head in the truck for air conditioning. I felt horrible.
It's always hot.
It is so hot.
July.
But I think the float turned out great. Thank you guys for those great printouts of what we're doing for the city. I think it was awesome. So thank you, everybody, and thank you guys again for coming and sharing that information with us.
Okay. Lori?
Yes, I'd like to say a big thank you to Kelly Hayworth, our city administrator, for 3 days before and after and through the whole event. He's the one that really makes it happen and keeps us on track and sees that everything is taken care of. And I really want to, I think we all know that, and we want to thank you.
Can I reiterate on that? Thanks for saving my marriage and backing me up to that trailer.
Lots of big and small things happened during the 4th of July. Thanks.
All right. Great. Okay. Thank you, folks. All right. On to our next item. I would entertain a motion to adjourn to an executive session.
Motion to adjourn to an executive session.
Okay. Moved by Nguyen. Could I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vogelzang. All right. Do we need to vote on this? Okay. Let's vote.
Vogelzang.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. All right. Okay, and we will move on to our next agenda item, which is the city administrator compensation package. This would increase the city administrator's compensation package by 3% starting on July 1st, 2025. Could I have the resolution, please?
Consider resolution approving the compensation package for the city administrator, introduced by Knutson, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Vogelzang. Any questions or discussion on this? I think we've discussed a lot. All right. Could I have the roll call, please?
Quinn.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Goodrich. Knutson.
Aye.
Vogelzang.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. And finally, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Peterson, seconded by Knutson. All in favor, please say aye.
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 We are adjourned.